Hello and welcome to Off the Hook Crochet with Nicole, and today we're going to be featuring another one of my favorite designers and talking some about the patterns that she makes, why I love them, and just, share some goodness with you. If you haven't seen some of the other designers' patterns that I have been featuring, you can certainly check out my favorites playlist up there and see all of my favorite designers. Today we're going to be featuring, who do you think we should feature today? I think Michelle is a great idea. And I think Michelle is a great idea because I just happen to be wearing one of her patterns. I'll be talking about this more in a minute, but yes, I think Michelle's a great idea. Michelle Ferguson, her business name is Two Brothers Blankets, and she calls it Two Brothers because she has two sons and they're brothers, and so Two Brothers Blankets. I think that is an adorable reason to call your business that. I'm always curious about the inspiration behind business names. I don't know, I just think that's so fascinating. So we're going to dive in and we're going to share some of her patterns and some of the things that I love about her stuff. So let's hop over and get started on that. I'm going to start by sharing Michelle's website, and I'm sharing that instead of her Ravelry first because I happen to know that she just rolled out a brand new website, and why not feature that for her? So this is definitely a great place to find everything that she does, and you get to see all of the patterns that she makes and connect with her. You can sign up for her newsletter, all of the amazing stuff. Find all of her socials all up there, which of course I'll have in the notes below. But make sure you go check out twobrothersblankets.com and go check out everything she has. Now we're going to flip over to her Ravelry page, and that's just to kind of keep consistent across all of these featured designers that I'm doing, because I'm very familiar with how everything's laid out. It's all the same. So let's pop over here and talk about Michelle's designer page. Now, I've mentioned before that designers can set up their own Ravelry page, and it's a great way to really explore all of the patterns of some of your favorite designers. You can save them in your favorites, so whenever they come out with new patterns, if you don't happen to catch it on the socials, you can always check it out over at Ravelry and see some of their favorite collections and all of that good stuff. Oh, yep, Farrah's right. My mug is backwards. Well, the video is backwards, so maybe you can't read it. If you can't, it says never enough yarn, right? So for sure, thanks Farrah for pointing out that my screen, it's mirrored. So anyway, let's dive into some of Michelle's patterns. One of the reasons that I love Michelle's stuff is because she doesn't just design for women. It's very rare these days to find patterns for men and women. Most of the time we have everything for women, and I get it. Like, my husband probably won't wear something that I crochet for him. He doesn't wear sweaters anyway, but come to think of it, part of that's a fit issue, and I probably could fix that if I made it for him. But I don't know, it's not his style to wear something that is crocheted or knit or anything along those lines. And I think that most men probably fit into that category. And yet, we as creators love to have the option to create something for the men in our lives. And there aren't a lot of options out there for that. So I love that she designs both for men and women as well as children. So we can see a lot of that in her patterns. Now, she does everything from sweaters and tops she has a lot of washcloths, and I think that's because she really loves to work with different stitch patterns. So, you know, you might have a basket weave, you might have, you know, a shell stitch, and she likes to do all of those different stitch patterns. And so she's working up washcloth patterns in that process. And I think that's a great way to do it. She has a lot of hats and beanies. Now, men are totally going to be into the hats as long as you live in a cold climate. We don't live in a cold climate, so my husband doesn't wear the hats either. I know, Farrah, I keep telling him we need to move somewhere colder, but he's not listening. So here we are. Now she does a lot of these patterns so that there will be one version for the men. Here's the Apricity Henley, and then she has another version for the women, and oftentimes she'll also have a third version for the children. So you can see, I mean, if you're thinking about doing family photos and you want something that's going to be all color coordinated and all a very similar style, this is like, come on, I mean, this is great. So, yeah, absolutely. She has some patterns that are suitable for the winter weather, and then she also has some patterns that are, this is what I would kind of call the bookend seasons. You know, they're bookend because most of us think of the big holiday seasons as being the summer months where we take a lot of vacations, or the winter months where we are busy with all of our activities. The bookends are kind of what's in between that. And so this, you know, she has a lot of patterns that are great for the fall and the spring, depending on what yarns you're using, what kind of colorways. This kind of a muted kind of almost a grayish, it's not gray, I'm whatever color you want to go with. You know, that's kind of, for me, it's more of a fall vibe, but you certainly could, you know, here's a kind of an aqua or a teal one that is definitely more of a spring vibe. So really, simply by switching up the colorway, you're going to get a different season out of that. And this uses a sport weight, which is well within that range. For me, my favorites are anything between fingering and DK. I generally tend to shy away from heavier than that, simply because I live in the desert. I don't want to wear heavy wear. So she does have patterns that are in heavier weights, but she does a lot in those kind of mid-range weights and lighter weights as well. So allergy season, so my nose is totally itchy and my ears are driving me nuts. Can you relate? I don't think frogs get allergies. Farrah, yeah. So, you know, she has, I love the fact that she has very simple patterns. And let me tell you, her patterns are very, very easy to follow, very well written. I can say, because I'm wearing this one, I'll get back to that in a minute, hold tight. But I also love that a lot of her patterns look like you could go into a store and buy this. Like, this would totally be something that you would find in a store for sale. So I like the idea of my garments not just feeling like something that I made and therefore it's just kind of like, you know, but like somebody could say, oh my gosh, what store did you buy that in, right? This is, and she has this Dutton hoodie for women as well. This is a really beautiful pattern. It really looks very classy and not elegant. Elegant's not the right. Store-bought. Right. So, you know, so she's got quite a variety. She does have some color work patterns. She has several patterns that are featured by Expression Fiber Arts. And if you're not familiar with Expression Fiber Arts, Chandy. I think her name is Chandy. I could be wrong. Don't quote. Thank you. Expression Fiber Arts is a hand dyer. So she will often bring in a lot of patterns from other designers and feature the yarn that she creates in those patterns. So it's kind of a collaborative effort between the designer and Expression Fiber Arts. So you'll see several of these pictures as we kind of go through that were featured with Expression Fiber Arts. So, and then we've got like, isn't this an adorable little dress? I've got a granddaughter, so of course I'm going to gravitate towards that. And you can see that some of her patterns there's going to be a small fee for, and then others she offers for free. She doesn't offer all of them for free, and that's totally okay. And even the ones that she offers for free, you can pay a small fee in order to get the ad-free version, because of course everything that's on her website is going to have ads. That's the revenue that she uses to support giving you a free pattern. So just keep that in mind. And I love that her outfits, her tops are simple, but with a little bit of flair to them. So, I mean, look at this. This is so cute. It's kind of just your great, heading out to the beach, and yet it's got a nice, lovely little detail at the bottom here. So while the vast majority of this pattern is going to be a pretty quick and easy workup, we've got this nice detailing at the bottom just to give it a little extra oomph. And I love the way that the collar kind of works up. A lot of patterns, when we see that sort of boat neck design, which is kind of where it goes straight across, it makes it really easy to work those patterns. And there's usually very little sewing involved in those designs. So that boat neck is really kind of a great option for those that don't like to sew and, or have more of a detailed kind of collar. I am looking for one top in particular. I was looking at this one the other day, and I got to save this one because I love the fact that it uses two colors of yarn and kind of graduates going down. Now you can see, like in this one, this top that I'm wearing here, I used actually 3 colors. The pattern does not actually call for this. I made a design choice on my own to kind of switch the colors as we went down, which really wasn't that hard. It was just making the decision to say, okay, I'm going to do 6 rounds of purple, and then 2 rounds of the dark gray, and then 6 rounds of the light gray, and then 2 rounds, and then just repeat. This one also kind of uses that different colorway. And if you don't have enough of one color yarn, like I did not have enough purple or gray to do this whole top. And that's sort of why I decided to do the effect that I did, because I didn't even have enough of just the purple and the light gray, so I had to add the 3rd color. These are all the same yarn. It's the Hobie. There's the baby cotton mercerized, again, camera's reversed on you, baby cotton mercerized and the Friends cotton mercerized in fingering weight. And so they all work together because they're all the same weight and same type of yarn. They're just different colors, which means I also had to tie, yes, you got to do more tying to do that. Totally okay. It's a great way to use up more of your stash yarn if you have 2 of the same types of yarn, but they're not the same color. Then that's okay. You can kind of switch. And I love that about this top, because I have this tendency to buy multiple colors, but maybe not quite enough of one color to make an entire top. So that's a great project if that's the case. So I'm actually going to save that one in my favorites. Now, this tied and true tee you may recognize, although mine does not have the frilly sleeves here, because I'm a larger breasted gal, if you didn't notice. Frilly sleeves tend to accentuate that area on large breasted gals, so I just left them off. But this is the tied and true pattern that I selected to do this, and let me show you. My first one here is right here, And so you can kind of see how it worked up and how it wears. There's a little tiny bit of gappage in the back, which I gotta say, when you first work it up before you wash it, it looks like you're gonna have a second set of boobs on your back. Don't worry about that. Once you wash it, you can block it, you can dry it. It does not look anywhere near as obnoxious as when you first worked it up. So, okay, good to know, because I know a few people were worried about that. See, there you can see just a hint of the baggage that kind of works up there, but it is not bad at all, for sure. So don't stress that too much. When you work it up, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awful. It'll be fine. So that's the second, that was the first one. So you can see the variety here. If you love those kind of garments, that there's some flexibility in them, you can create something that's stunning, but it still has a very simple pattern to follow. Her patterns are really fun and easy to follow. This is another really lovely one, adult or child. So this is one that is a paid pattern, but certainly it's very fun. And if we look, you can see that many of her designs have a lot of different projects. So she certainly is a designer that is more well known, more well tested. People really love her patterns and they are done plenty of times. So you can have confidence when you're looking through her patterns that she is going to go in and correct any mistakes that might creep into a pattern. And it's going to be something that you can count on getting support if you absolutely need to get that support from her. So she's got some lovely lacy scarves and some cable work sweaters. I haven't ventured into cable work yet. I might have to try that someday soon. But quite the variety. So there's a little bit here for everybody. And as many of my pattern designer favorites are, she's very size inclusive, which is important to me because I have larger breasts, and while I'm not a bigger girl overall, oftentimes if a pattern is not designed as size inclusive, it doesn't look good on my bigger breasts. So that's really an important kind of factor for me. I look for that. What do you think? I just love all of this stuff. She's an easy designer. Did I say that? She's an easy designer to follow the patterns. And she has quite the variety. Look at this, super cute. This is kind of like a non-traditional Santa's hat. This is so cute and uses quite the fun little kind of shell sort of style. I'm not sure. I don't know all of the crochet stitch names yet. Maybe someday I will. But they're all so fun. Fun, fun, fun. Tell me which pattern you love. Do you love her designs? Is there one that you're like, oh my gosh, Nicole, that is stunning. I have to go try that quickly. Look at that. That's such it's a beautiful shell that you can wear over a camisole and dress up an outfit. It's so lovely. And then you could put a top over that, like a sweater or a jacket. I think it's just so fun. Or look at this one, has more of kind of a cabling like look to it. So yeah, very interesting details that you don't often see with other designers. And they're just a lot of fun. So let me know if you love her patterns. If there are some that you are going to be like, I totally have to try that one. I cannot wait. And if you have a favorite designer, let me know them too as well. Right. Yes. Let me know who your favorite designer is. I'd love to go explore and check out some new designers. I am always on the hunt for some great garments that I can make. And yeah, add to my repertoire.